Hello, and right now I'm going to be bringing you the first official episode of a segment called In My Opinion, where I basically talk about different things and do my own take on them. Now, I did do a past episode of something like this, involving the Beatles and modern artists, but this will be the first actual episode. So now then, what I'd like to talk about right now is exactly why it is that I buy CDs. Being that I grew up in the mid to late 90s and 2000s, the main way to listen to music then was through either CD or cassette tape, which was slowly becoming obsolete. I grew up during a time where people still had Walkmans, and CD players were starting to become popular, as bulky and inconvenient as they were. Regardless, that's how most people would listen to music until iPods took off to the stars. Anyways, it was only a couple years ago that I started to collect CDs. As I discovered my dad's rack of CDs that he compiled. At the time, it was mainly R&B, some rock, gospel, jazz fusion, and stuff like that. I thought to myself, why not take it upon myself to add to this collection here and make it a million times better? So that's exactly what I did. When I started to collect, it started rather small. I mostly stuck to artists that I knew somewhat well, like Prince and Michael Jackson. Then as I began to discover more and more artists and bands, I would expand my boundaries to the likes of the Beatles, Pink Floyd, Parliament Funkadelic, Jimi Hendrix, Red Hot Chili Peppers, and so on and whatever. Right now, I have an extremely vast liking to a lot of artists and bands, and began getting stuff like the Beach Boys, Marvin Gaye, Rick James, Led Zeppelin, Kanye West, Elton John, etc., etc. The two collections that have grown the most happen to be rock and pop. Prince takes up the majority of my pop collection, while the Beatles take up the majority of my rock collection. So, yeah. Anyways, the real reason I started doing this is because for many years I've been watching things such as video game reviews, and I've always thought about doing something like that, but I never really knew how. How could I compare to the likes of the Angry Video Game Nerd, JonTron, Peanut Butter Gamer, and Angry Joe? Couldn't. Not only that, but I don't have a huge collection of video games like I do with CDs. I'm a huge video game enthusiast, but not owning a lot of games wouldn't help my cause for reviewing video games. Then I decided to look up album reviews, and to my surprise, there weren't really a lot of people doing it. These reviews for albums and stuff like that, as there were people reviewing video games. Some notable album review channels, and I will put links to these channels in the description, were the likes of Needle Drop, which reviews all different genres of music, and Dead End Hip Hop, which, as the name suggests, mostly reviews hip-hop and rap albums. These two channels were the prominent album review channels that I discovered, and I highly recommend both, so go check those out. So I thought to myself again, I happen to have tons and tons of CDs by all different kinds of artists, and of all different genres. I know a pretty good deal about music, so why don't I do this? I figured it'd be easy and fun enough to get in front of a camera and talk about the very thing that I love the most, which is music. The only tedious part is writing the notes and scripts for the reviews. I know some people can do it without a script and such, but I'm not good at talking about stuff for long periods of time without rambling incoherently about something completely different. So I take notes on each track, and I talk about in order to get my thoughts out, like all my thoughts and whatever. Anyways, now it's time for the second half of the video. Why should you support artists and bands? I hear a lot of people say that they absolutely love an artist or a band, yet I find out that they only listen to their music on YouTube or other video sharing sites. I, of course, also listen to a ton of music on YouTube, so I'm not a hypocrite, but in my honest opinion, I believe that if you truly love and admire an artist or a band, you should support them by actually going out and buying their music. Whether it be going to your local record store and buying CDs, vinyl records, or even cassette tapes, or it be even buying their music off of iTunes. Whatever it is, I mean, these artists, of course, put their music out there to make money, but they also put it out there for our enjoyment. The least we can do is, in return, is by actually purchasing their music or their merchandise. For example, the Beatles are my favorite band. I own about 3/4 of their entire catalog of studio albums. I have Beatles posters in my room, and I even have a Beatles calendar. I love Prince, so I buy his albums. I love the Beach Boys, so I buy their albums. See where I'm going with this? I support these artists because I enjoy listening to them, and because I look up to them. If I can't give them, thanks by any other means, then I just buy their music. Not just listening to their songs on YouTube, Now, to be fair, if there's an album that I don't own, or can't get my hands on at the time, I might listen to it on YouTube, but if I decide that I really, really like this artist and choose to support them by buying their music, then I will. Just recently I listened to Isaac Hayes' album Black Moses, and I really enjoyed it. And now I want to, go out and buy the album when I get the chance, and I will do that. Same goes for Dennis Wilson's Pacific Ocean Blue. Incredible, incredible album that I now really want to own in my collection because it sounds great. And being that Dennis was a member of the Beach Boys, I want to continue supporting that, that thread. When you support an artist by buying their music, you're basically saying that you agree with what they're trying to convey through their music and that you support the art that they put out there into the world. Anyways, if there was any other reason why I collect CDs, it's that it's simply just fun. I love checking out new CDs. I love watching my collection grow, especially when I get a bunch of albums at the same time. I constantly keep running out of space on my racks. I have about 5 racks filled with music, mostly categorized by genre. More recently, I've tried getting stuff I wouldn't usually get. I bought Taylor Swift's new album in 1989, and I actually enjoyed it quite a bit. And I even decided to review it, so make sure you go check out that review. I will put a link in the description for that. I've been wanting to get into Katy Perry too, so I bought all 3 of her albums after her Christian rock album. I might do those reviews sometime soon, but yeah. I'm not, big into either of them, but discovering new music is always really fun, and I love to expand my boundaries all the time. So thank you for joining me in this, this little speech about stuff. I just feel, very passionate about this kind of stuff. Supporting an artist. I can't, express it enough how much I think it's important to support the artists that you love and enjoy listening to. So, anyways, thank you for joining me on this, our first episode of In My Opinion. I look forward to a lot more of these because they will be on the way, and I'll have more reviews on the way as well. So, once again, thank you for joining me, and so long.